with my co host, Miss Nexie.
Hello, everyone.
And as you guys can see, my screen is black because where is Marlene? Where is
She
Marlene?
ain't here. She's
Yeah,
not here.
she's not even here. I don't know. I'm just
She's left the building.
we would been having I had we had it set up and everything. The tablet, it was going great. And guess what happens? 1 second later, my tablet dies. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and Miss Nexie was left talking to no tablet. Anyway, go on, Miss Marlene.
so everybody, let me do my introduction for this channel. This is Love Marlene 411, where we talk on this channel about trauma healing for many different things, childhood, romantic relationships, relatives, friends, social media, anywhere you can encounter trauma, we're going to talk about it here. So, welcome to the channel and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And yeah, we're going to get into today's topic. Ms. Nexie, welcome to the Sip and Chat.
Thank you, Miss Marlene. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So we're here because on this off day, it's a Saturday, and it feels kind of strange to be on the sip and chat. I don't know about you, Miss Nexie. I feel kind of
Miss
like,
Marlene. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up because as a good friend of yours, I
Mhm.
was not going to bring it up, but now that you brought it up, I'm going to speak my piece. I was freaking out because I was like, it's Thursday and I forgot about the spin chat. I'm like, what? And I start going through, I open my phone and the calendar and everything. And then I'm like, Saturday. And then it hit me that a couple of days ago, we had our Thanksgiving and yeah, so that, but I was freaking out. That's all I want you to know. My heart
Oh,
almost left my body.
oh my lord! Oh my
So
goodness!
confused, so confused. Oh my God.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So, Miss Nexie, it's a sip and chat. Are you actually sipping on anything today?
Regular coffee, Miss Marlene, and thank you for asking. I'm just having a nice cup of coffee because it's a little bit cold here in Cali. It's colder than usual, right? It's weird because it's like warm midday, and then after 3 o'clock, it starts getting really, really chilly. So right now, I'm like just relaxing with a cup of coffee, and I added a lot of cream. How about you, Miss Marlene? What are you sipping on?
Miss Nexie, I just have some really ice cold orange juice because I'm trying to what do you call it, ward off the sniffles. So
Oh, that's it, huh? Already started.
yeah, I already started. It's that time
Yeah.
of the year where
Yes.
all that stuff. Yeah. So yes.
Yes.
Hi, the wizards. How are you doing? So, Miss Nexie, let's get into today's topic, shall we?
Let's do it.
So today we're talking about stop waiting for toxic people to heal or change. I don't know about you,
Mm.
Miss Nexie, but for me, that's something that I know I used to do, waiting for an ex, waiting for your relatives, waiting for friends, just waiting in general for people to show up and treat you the way that you deserve to be treated.
Miss Marlene, and you know me. We talk. We're great friends, and we talk out of offline sometimes. And I have mentioned to you that I don't go into like celebration mode on holidays like Christmases or
Mhm.
even Thanksgiving. Um, I don't because of what we're talking about today. Because I got tired of waiting for people to either change. I didn't think of healing because, back then I wasn't healed myself. I wasn't in therapy or anything. So I wasn't even going there. But I stopped waiting for people to appreciate, for people to change, for people to come around, for people to be what I wanted them to be, which that was on me, right? That was on me. So I really, yeah, there you
Mhm.
go.
Yes, Miss Nexie. And but the thing about it is that nobody really ever teaches us unless you grow up in an environment where your parents or people, whoever raised you, was that way. Like they went to therapy, or they were a very forgiving person, or they put in some work into their inner child, to be a better human being. Unless you grew up in that environment, you really grow up feeling that you have to take whatever it is, take people's judgments, or take people's being controlling or manipulative or ghosting you. And I don't know about you, Miss Nexie, and the chat, but I always used to sit and do like some, like, what have I done? Why am I being treated like this? Why do they disrespect me like this? Ow, I thought
Mm,
I was a good person. Like, you go into that self-doubt mode.
yes, and you said something earlier that I think we a lot of us suffer from that. And and I say suffer from that in with quotations, if you could see them, and a big happy face around it and a wink wink. We suffer from family that doesn't teach us, from family that doesn't, that are as sick or worse than the people that we are talking about today. And so we don't really have someone that says, hey, you know what, I know that person is blah blah blah, but it's nothing, it has nothing to do with you, right? It's not you doing this, that's on them. So
Yeah,
we don't come from people that are healed already, so it's kind of weird. And we didn't realize this, especially for me, Miss Marlene. I didn't realize this until I had already gone through therapy and was working on me and was trying to change the outcome of the next generation I was going to live in this world.
mhm. See, my thing, Miss Nexie, is because of how I grew up in that environment, and I honestly don't feel like I had parents that were like, "I'm gonna do these things because I wanna scar you and I want you to hurt you." I generally think the
Hmm.
majority of parents are really just doing the best that they know how to do, and that they give their children that version of themselves. But the thing about it is that when you grow up in that environment, because they were only to that level of emotional healing, that you tend to only stay in that space and not vibrate higher, not try to say, they did this and that hurt me. Why do I keep doing this and hurting my children or my friends or who I'm in a relationship with? Why do I do these things? Right. So that is the reason for today's conversation, is that we have to stop doing the things that people did in the past to hurt us, because you will create a cycle of pain inside of other people.
Exactly. And again, we go back to the whys, the hows, the who's, right? Of what we're talking about. But in reality is there's no healing those people unless they want to heal. That's the thing that we, Miss Marley and I, had to learn, I think, the hard way. That
Mhm.
there is no way that we can do that, that the only way we can is to heal us. And so that hopefully one day we can be able to, you know, reject those people. We can be able to either say why we're doing what we're doing and distancing ourselves from them. Not, maybe not reject them, but maybe a healthy distance so that, you can continue to heal, because there's nothing you can do if someone doesn't want to help themselves.
Yeah, and that is the point right there, Miss Nexie. Um, for us to each get to that space, like really letting that sink in, that I can't do anything. I can't make a person, number one, support me. And that is something that is very, very important for our healing and our peace and being a better human being. We can't make people do anything they don't want to do. And it doesn't have anything to do with us, it has everything to do with them.
Eh, yeah, I know. And it took me a very long time to understand that because I I come from family who have been in relationships, right? That have they have been in relationships, marriages, and just couples for many, many years. And divorce in their mind is not an option, right? You marry this person, you live with them, have kids with them, whatever, or separation is not an option. So I the focus on them is always, if you're married, um, when are the kids coming? And criticize you. And they look for the worst of times to do this. And if you already have them, why are you not educating them the right way? Why are you allowing certain things? I will never do that. Blah blah blah. So people like that all they do is criticize you, all they do is put you down, all they do is bring your flaws to the surface, all they do is make you uncomfortable, make you doubt yourself, make you feel so like they belittle you, they make you feel so little, like if you're that teenager again, right? Even though you're a grown woman. But people like that, I had to learn, Miss Marlene, that there's nothing I can do, nothing I can say that is gonna make them not find any flaws on me. That is not gonna make them see the person that I am, because they cannot, they don't have the ability to say, hey, you know what? Yes, she already had her kids, but look, her child is so and so age, and that child already knows how to talk, how to walk. That child already knows her ABCs, her one, two, threes. The child is in good hands. She's a good mama. They cannot go there because for whatever reason they like to bring you down. So I had to learn that no matter what they say or in front of who they said it, as long as I didn't believe and didn't take into consideration what they were saying, it was not going to affect me, my mood or anything like that. But again, I didn't learn that growing up. I learned it as I was already in therapy, a very grown woman with three kids. And so it took me a very long time to get to the point that I am now, which is, if that's the way you feel, if that's the way you see me, as long as I don't see me like that, then go on. I don't care.
Yeah. And that's the point, Miss Nexine. Like you said, it took you a while to get to that space. And what makes me feel sad about this is that some people, they never get to this space because unfortunately so many people don't feel that they deserve to be loved. They don't feel worthy of love, and they've never had that represented in their lives. They've never had even something as simple as being told that they're loved or getting affection and hugs and things like that. It does affect the person that you are. Like every single person needs to be told that they're loved and valued and
Mm.
important and all those things. It goes into your
Y-
well.
You know, Miss Marlene, I'm sorry to jump in like this, but I'm just thinking about something. Is that you said something about they haven't had that love. They haven't had unconditional
Mhm.
love. They have had conditional, that if you do this and that, then I'll love you, then I'll praise you, right? So the unconditional love that we are giving to our children and our relatives, a young generation and stuff like that, that type of love, those people have never had it. And that's what I had. I came to that conclusion that no matter what, how I behave, I could have been the best person in the world, married to, I don't know, a prince. or something like that, having beautiful, well behaved, blah, blah, blah children, it didn't matter because that person was going to find something wrong then too. You know what I mean? So, because they have never been in an environment where unconditional love is or love is just that. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. They just love you. They have never been loved like that, so they don't know how to give that type of love back. So I had to understand that no matter what I did, how many ways I said, hey, you shouldn't be like that. You're hurting people, or you're hurting me, or, think about the scars that you're leaving on this next generation. I had to understand that no matter what I said, it was not going to go through them. They were not going to change because they didn't have the ability to.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned, I will add to that, Miss Nexie, therapy therapy really taught me that it's also included in that they don't want to change. So many people are
Hmm.
comfortable in that space of, this is the way I was raised. I've always been, being treated like garbage. So they think that it's okay, it's normal to not
Hmm.
only treat themselves but to treat other people like garbage. And when we rise above those things, Miss Nexie, like this channel talking about trauma healing and whatever traumatic things that you have been through, people treating you with disrespect or trying to run over you, run through you. And many people feel that that's okay because of what they
Yeah,
have seen. And this
they,
channel
they they
is all
can
about that,
change.
say that it's not okay.
Yeah, they cannot change, and that's the thing. I had to learn that. I had to learn that no matter what, you cannot change them, and they have the ability, I'm sure, but they don't want to because that's how they feel comfortable, and because they think that they're always right. They
Mm,
have the answers to everything. They're always right with everything they do. So, and the scars that they leave on you, as a young person, being around people like this, they make you so insecure. They make you so fearful of others sometimes because of the way that they are. Um, I had to again accept that there's nothing I can do for them, that all I can do is love them and let them be. But I had to distance myself from them.
yeah, that's the th- that's
That's
the
what I had to do.
That's the thing, and that's why this channel, I think, is such an important channel. What we do over here, what we talk about, is for us to understand that whoever the person is, that could be your husband, your wife, it could be your siblings, it could be your best friends, it could be any person. But if they run over you, backstab you, treat you like you're garbage, don't value your opinion, don't support you, that's not okay. We have to stop letting people who are unhealed stop us from our personal healing.
Exactly, Miss Marlene. And my life became better when I understood that it had nothing to do with me. It wasn't me being disrespectful or negative or not good enough. It wasn't me. That's the way they viewed me, and I was not going to change that no matter what. So I had to understand, I had to learn and work through that it has nothing to do with me how they feel. That's on them. And once I learned that that's a you problem, right? Kind of way, it stopped bothering me, and I was able to heal from all the damage that had been done. Because what people don't understand, we come from large families, Miss Marlene, and if we have 10 aunties, 9 of them are like this. I'm sorry, but
Yes.
that's just it. 9 out of 10 are like this, that they criticize you. You're never good enough. And then they gang up on you. They say all kinds of nasty things that I will never say to anyone's child. And I will never say that to my children because I know what it does to somebody for you to be treated that way. Now, it was very difficult for me to make my, some of my the people that I care in my family, close family, my immediate family, sisters and parents, make them understand that in order for me to be okay, to continue on my healing journey, to be able to not harm, hurt, and scar my children, I needed to have distance from these persons, from these people. So it was very problematic because we have family reunions, we have birthdays, we have Christmases and everything together. And it was hard for me to make them understand, no, I don't want to go, and or I'm not going because this and this and this. Especially once my children started getting older, Miss Marlene, that they started saying, oh, my auntie so and so said that I'm too short for my age, or that why is my face so rounded, or why am I so chubby? And so things like that, I said, no, 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 it's gonna start affecting my children, then I'm done. So it was very hard for me to make them understand that. And some friends too, that they will say, oh, just let it be. People are like that in our family. Yeah, that's you. And if that's the way you want to raise your children, whatever, hey, who am I to tell you not to or to? It has nothing to do that. Those are your children and you decide. But because of all the trauma and all the scars that I had visible and not visible, but invisible inside of me, I had to not care what their opinion was. And even if they were upset, they were mad, whatever, I knew that one day they will understand the reason why I had to distance myself, or I wasn't in speaking terms with that person, or whatever it was, but I had to put myself and my children first.
See, and that's a healthy way of thinking, Miss Nexty, that a lot of people don't get to that space of thinking about anybody other than themselves. And we know people who are like that. I think the majority of the population knows people who everything is about them, whether they're married or they have kids or whatever is going on. The world has to revolve around them, and everybody has to do what they say, and that toxic energy, that manipulation, that controlling thing, it will really destroy you and break you down.
Miss Marlene, I'm sorry, we're right there and I'm interrupted again, but didn't you? I mean, I hated this. Oh, she's always been like that. Oh, you're too sensitive, honey. No, 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 it's okay. She's been like this since she was a teenager. She's always been this negative and toxic, whatever. And I'm thinking, if you knew she was like that, why did you bring me around? Right? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why did you allow her to hurt me like that?
Mhm.
And why are you still hanging around with this person? That was my thinking as I got older, right? Like, yeah, I get it. She's always been like this, but why are you making excuses for her? And you're literally attacking me because I don't want to be part of them. Like, I don't get it. But
N-
they are so conditioned. They're so used to this type of abuse or this type of way that they don't see it. They see you as a sensitive person. They see you as someone that cannot that is too sensitive. Yeah, that's what I should
Miss
just leave it
Nancy,
at that.
say that I believe that they see you as a threat. A threat that you're going to come in and you're going to change things, because why do you think people rebel against change so much? Because they number one don't want to change, because that means that they're going to have to be accountable, they're going to have to do the right thing. No, they rather just slack off, be lazy, be rude, and of course there should be no consequences because I can do whatever I want, but no, you have to treat me right. Have you
Mm.
ever been through anything like that, Miss Nexie?
Yes, yes, yes. And I have been the one I have been told, you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. Like, your auntie was talking about the way you are, and that's an embarrassment you're an embarrassment to our family. You're embarrassing us. I don't know why you keep on acting this way. And I'm thinking, I'm your child, right? I'm your sibling or I'm your niece, whatever. and you're not siding with me, I'm the problem.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, right, how I feel. And they put everything on that person that has, by the way, also hurt them and criticized them and belittled them the same way that they had me. What I had to start doing, and for me, when I used to go sometimes to this, family gatherings, is that I had to start letting this person disrespect me or anyone, as because before I will say, hey, stop, or hey, don't do that, or whatever. I had to stop that. I had to allow them to, so that they could see, hopefully one day, what I was talking about,
Hmm.
or how hurtful this person, or how far she could go, right? Or he could go. So I went through a lot of that, whatever, whatever. I don't, okay, let's go. I'm going to be there. Let's talk. And then the minute I will walk in, oh my God, why is your kid wearing that? Or why is your kid holding that toy like that? Or why is your child, isn't he a boy? And it's like, I would just let it go. Yeah, yeah, he is. And I will tell my kids from the very beginning, so and so is going to be there. So you guys don't pay attention to anything just for today. We're just going to be there for a little while, because they started saying, like, I don't want to go. We don't want to go, mom. And so I had to allow
Mm-mm.
this person to be themselves fully without stopping them, so that hoping that one day, either, whoever was telling me that I was the problem, hopefully one day that person will see, right, and say, hey, stop, you're hurting the baby, or you're being mean to the child. But that never happened. That never happened, because they're so used to that type of treatment in the type of environment, that for them it's actually funny, or your kids are too sensitive.
Yeah, and that is such a major problem that for so I can't even tell you how many generations going back. At least I can speak for my family about, like, if there's a problem, no, we're not going to just keep being secretive. No, we're not going to keep sweeping everything under the rug. No, we're not going to keep saying that's the how uncle this one or cousin that one is. No, that's not okay. We should not have to keep dealing with disrespect and manipulation because they're unhealed or angry about whatever issues they
Exactly. And I should have said it at the end of my rant over there, is that you can't heal this type of people. You can't. No matter what you do,
have.
how you talk to them, no matter how many examples you give family to, sometimes your immediate family, mom, dad, siblings, no matter how many times you tell them this hurts me, because they aren't healed as well. You can't really heal an entire generation that has been like this for many, 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 many years, and that they think that they can do nothing wrong. So you cannot heal these people. You have to let them, one day, hopefully one of their kids, once they start having kids, hopefully one of them will say, hey, you're rude, or don't talk to my child like that, or whatever.
Mhm.
That's what I should have
I
said at the end. It's like, you can't heal these people. You
yeah.
cannot help them. You cannot no matter what you say, there's nothing you can say, actually. That's what I should say. There's nothing you can say for them to understand the cause and effect of the things that they say to you, because they say, well, I'm not hitting them. Or you don't have to. You just made him cry, because sometimes, my son will run to me and crying because so and so said that he was short, or so and so said that he was a baby, a crybaby. And I'll be like, what are you doing? Oh my God, your child is too sensitive. Oh my God. And he's
Oh,
a boy. And
I
then they will
hate
go,
I
and
hate
then,
when people say that you're sensitive because they're rude. That is
oh no,
one of
no,
my pet
Miss,
peeves.
yes, Miss Marlene. And you know what? My one of my pet peeves is when they say, "Oh, he's so sad. He's a boy, don't you think?" And then they start ganging. They start asking everybody else for their opinion in front of you, to prove
Mhm.
themselves that you're the one that is the problem. That you are too sensitive with your sensitive boy.
Mm,
That's my pet peeve. Oh my God, I just don't like that. And because then they create a lot of problems for you. They create a lot of animosity with other family members because they're saying, look at her. The boy, I didn't even say anything. He's crying already. And look at her, the big deal she's making. So she's the problem. Not that you insulted my son saying things that hurt his feelings, and he's a little one, and you're creating scars in his mind that I'm probably going to have to pay therapy, for a therapist for therapy for him because you cannot say anything nice to a child. Like, what the heck is your problem? Right.
mhm.
And
Yes.
I hate that when they gang up on you. Ugh.
No, Miss Nexie, listen. The thing about it that I don't like when it comes to anybody in my life, like if you're a part of my life and you cannot be sensitive to certain situations, because you and I have a different situation, having children that have special needs. We have a different,
Mhm,
you know, situation, right? And
mhm,
sometimes I just feel that relatives just don't understand that it's different, that it's
mhm,
not just like I don't want to say normal, quote unquote, 'cause I don't like when people say that. It's just that, when children that are different, have different special needs, that you can't treat them the same way because cognitively they can't process it. They don't
mhm.
understand, and it doesn't matter how many times you tell them you should do this or that. That's beyond their comprehension, and they just don't get that. Well, I already told them stop running. I told them stop doing this. Do
Mm.
you not understand?
Yep.
It's unbelievable to me.
It is. But you know what bothers me too on that respect, Miss Marlene, now that you brought up the subject, is that they have an opinion for everything. They can criticize you from the way you allow them to dress, that from the food that you're giving them, for not being stricter when it comes to their bath routine, to their grooming routine, to their eating. They criticize you in front of people. They talk all this big sense nonsense, but
Mhm.
they're not the first in line when you need help to take care of them.
Yeah, Miss Nexie, that I feel that that's called um like trying to break you down so that they can step on you. But the moment when you're like, okay, you say I'm this, and this. Okay, if you want to help change that, how about you give me money? How about you give me some respite care so I can take care of my mental health? Those things that they are not willing to do because they're not in that space emotionally to have care or concern about anybody else. It's individuals in our families, relatives, or romantic relationship. It could be anybody that's just very insensitive to other people and what they want and need, or things that makes other people feel uncomfortable. I've had to tell relatives before, just because you like things a certain way, that doesn't mean everybody wants it to be that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not everybody, exactly, not everybody can have it that way or wants it that way or is willing to
Mhm.
have it that way. Um, the thing for me is I got so, I had three little ones running around before, my last son was born, which is the one with special needs. But there was, my children are they were very curious. They weren't rowdy kids because I never had, my kids, they were never rowdy, like, or undisciplined or whatever, because I do expect them to behave a certain way, to have discipline, to do this, to do that. I had, chores that they needed to do. They had to shower at a certain time. They had to, so many things, right, that I had in place.
Mhm.
And they were well behaved compared to my cousins or other people's, right? But
Mhm.
they were always picking on my children. They were always criticizing my kids, criticizing me, my way of living, my work, the fact that I was a mom, married, and I was working. That's a sin. How dare you work? right? And leave your children. That's why they're the way they are. Because so I had to understand that no matter, even if I wanted to be a state, let's say I'm gonna do this, okay, I'm gonna stay at home and with the kids, then they will criticize something then. So I had to learn to kind of like trick my mind or work on myself saying, hey, no matter what I do, someone that is this broken will never
Mhm.
be able to understand or sympathize or empathize with what I'm going through or anybody else is going through because they are so broken, they're so hurt with themselves, their daily life that they take it out on anybody else. And that's what I had to understand, Miss Marlene, that it wasn't just a targeted thing, that it was just that they had nobody else to take it out on. So I was that piggy.
Mm. And I,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so oh, go ahead, Miss Marlene, go ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead. You finish your statement.
Oh no, yeah, I was said so I needed to understand that if I wanted things to be different, I needed to change my circle for healthy and or trying to get healthy type of friends and family members. That's when I opted for just hanging around my sisters because, regardless of, we all of us have had one way or another of therapy because, we come
Mhm.
from not a so healed family. So I knew that no matter what, with my sisters, I was going to be able to, my children were not going to be criticized because those are their nieces and nephews and they love them and whatever. And they knew me. So I was like, I'm just going to stick around here and get rid of everybody else that has nothing to do with us. And that's what I did.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you experienced so much peace since.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I wanted to segue into this conversation about why is it that people feel that like anytime when you try to elevate your life, whatever way it is, through education, through improving your financial situation, or getting a better job, whatever it is that you're doing, something to improve your life so that you can live a better quality life. Why is it that when you do that, other people feel threatened, or they feel, oh, you think you're better than everybody now? Why do all of those fears and those insecurities come out of people when all you're doing is trying to improve the quality of your life?
Yeah, and without thinking that by you improving the quality of your life, you will improve theirs too because they're part of your circle.
Mhm.
But it's a jealousy that goes along with, again, with unhealthy people because I'm not saying I am 100% healed, but I am constantly trying to heal, right? Improve myself through whatever means necessary for me in the way that I can heal. If I start seeing that there's a pattern or something is bothering me, I have these questions or I have this, I go back to therapy. And or I buy something to kind of help me understand the whys. But for me, I I take it as how can I put it without I don't want to be, disrespectful to anyone, but I take it as again, if you're improving yourself and they still bottom fish, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but
Body
not doing
haters, yeah.
anything,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be me that jealousy that they feel because they don't have the to
Mhm.
do what you're doing or they don't have the maybe the willingness or the imagination whatever it is that it's needed to be successful in this world. And I don't mean having millions in your bank account. I mean just doing what you love going to school if you want to, even if you have children, they can go to school too, and you can have daycares, and why do they want you tie up the same way they're tying themselves up? Because it's not that people are having them there. So I had to understand that even if I had to stay home taking care of my kids, let's say I did that because so and so criticized me that way, or three or four people from my family said that, I wasn't really a good mom, whatever. Let's say I stay home. Now they're gonna say, "Oh, you're staying home now? Yeah. Oh, look at her. She's trying to be a good mom now." You know what I mean? Like I had to understand that no matter what I did or how I did it, it was not gonna make a difference to them. That all I needed to do is understand that, not take to heart what they were saying, and continue on my quest because it was mine to take, not theirs, mine.
Mhm. Yeah, and I love that you said that it's your journey, it's your life, it's you know, it's all up to what you personally want, and that's the thing that each and every one of us has to understand that we're all different. We all want different things. And I think that was the part that I really had to process, that not everybody wants to heal. Not everybody wants to grow. Not everybody wants things different. And I had to allow people to be themselves, and also giving people what do you call it? Grace when it
Hmm.
when it comes to, okay, you don't understand, you don't get it, or whatever the case may be, like not holding it against them because they don't want better for their lives. And
Yeah.
once I finally got to that
A-
space, I became so much happier.
And Miss Marlene, let's say you would have done everything they wanted you to, stayed in the same place they wanted you to. Do you think that it would have been any different? They would have, you think they would have been like, "Oh, Miss Marlene is so much, now that she listened to us, she's so much better. So we're gonna, stick together, and we're gonna now praise her." Do you think it would have been that way, or what do you think?
No. What it really is, Miss Nexie, is when you stay at the space that people want you to be at. They want you to stay that way so that they can look down on you, so they can laugh at you, so that they can say, "See, they're not doing any better." People want some kind of what do you call it? I'm trying to search for the word. They want something as some sort of leverage, something that they can hold
To
over
hold
your
on.
head. Yeah.
And Miss Marlene, you said something earlier. I don't remember at what point. I cannot point it out to our listeners, right? But you said something as in the fact, kind of like they don't want to lose the control they have on you.
Mhm.
Remember, I think it was in the beginning of our of the chat. I mean, of our conversation. It's like they don't want to lose control. They don't want to lose, the hold they have on you, kind of like that. And if they stop doing what they're doing, they feel that they will lose that control they have.
Mhm.
That's how I take it for me.
Yes, and I honestly feel, Miss Nexie, when we have people like that in our lives, they were used to that you were probably a yes person, and you were doing whatever they said, right?
Hmm.
You did what they said. You didn't ask questions. You didn't check people. You didn't tell people when they hurt your feelings. Like, you weren't an advocate for yourself. You
Yeah.
didn't, put out boundaries. Like, I don't like that. Don't do this, this, and this. You would just allow things to happen. And when you start to improve and not allow those things, people don't like when now they know they can't get away with things, or they know you're going to check them and say that's not right. Those are the people who will back away from you.
Yeah. Or if they cannot get to you one way or another, if
Mhm.
they cannot get a response from you, even
Mhm.
if it's just a look or a sight or whatever, a gesture or, something that comes out of you, if they don't get that, they continue on, because that's the one thing I had to learn. I kind of learned and realized as I started getting healed is that what they thrive on and continue, why they continue to be this way is, especially here, is because I had no one that will, step up for me. And second, I will get upset and I will speak up and I will say, so that was their whole thing, is that they wanted a reaction from me. Once I started healing, they got nothing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They got nothing. And the one thing I learned that will shut him up sometimes is, if that's the way you feel, then I'm grateful for you. I'm very happy. As long as you're okay and feeling this way is how you feel, then I'm very, very happy for you. Then my day has been made. And they will get so upset because they weren't getting anything negative from me. And I wasn't, you know, sometimes going after them because of something they said to my children or whatever. And so, and I had to tell my kids, if they ever say anything like that, just walk away. Don't say anything. Just walk away. Don't respond. Just walk away and come tell me, and we deal with it at home. But don't allow these people to get in your skin. And I went through this for years and years and years, 3 to 4 decades, Miss Marlene, of this behavior. So I had to learn and I had to understand, actually, eventually, and get it in my head that no matter what I try to tell them, how I approach them, how I coach them, how I try to tell them, go get therapy, or go do something that is going to help you heal everything. No matter what I did, it was never going to go through. It was never going to be something that they were going to take into heart, because they are not capable of, because they don't want to. So it took me many years to stop wasting my time, to stop wasting my words, to stop wasting my precious thoughts on these people.
Exactly. And also understanding that, oh, this is Miss Nexty, get ready. Move your toes out the way. Move your toes out the way, chat.
Oh,
Okay.
hold on, hold on,
Because
hold on, hold on. Okay.
you got it. Because Miss
Yes.
Nexty, this is hard to take in, but a lot of people that we care about or that claim that they are your friends or your loved ones, they actually undercover hate you.
Yes,
They will
ma'am.
talk a good talk, Miss Nexie. Oh, I love you. Hey, if you need something, we've all heard it. We've all heard
Hmm.
it. Oh, I'm
Yep.
here for you. I love you so much. We should get together. And you hear that every time you're around them. We should get together. And
Hmm.
here we are another year or how many years later. Oh, we should get together. And you're like, uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never thought of it that way.
Mhm.
That in secret, they dislike you very, very much.
Oh, Miss Nexie, that's what my dad told me when I was a little girl. And I was like, Dad, why do they do this? And my dad said, I'm gonna tell you something. And he was like, and he was like, you're not gonna probably understand. But I still remember this, Miss Nexie. I think I was like between 6 or 7 years old. And my dad gave me a life lesson that day. And I was
It's
like,
a
why do
beautiful thing to say.
yeah. And he was like, listen, I was like, why do they always treat me like this? And what because I was younger and I was doing good in school. I was always on honor roll and all kinds of other things. And Miss Nexie, I wasn't trying. That's Miss
It just
Nexie, you
happened.
Miss Nexie, you know that I've told you before I didn't like school growing up. I just went because I had to go to school, but I think if I had really like applied myself, I probably would have been an A student.
But there were a lot of factors of the reason why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you what my dad. So, and this is Miss Marlene. We're talking. We're not doing this to put throw dirt on our family or friends or
Mhm.
whatever significant others. We're just doing it because it's a form of therapy. It's a form of healing. This is a way of healing as well. talking about your misfortunes, talking about your pain and sorrow growing up, and even last week, right? That's a form of therapy. It helps you heal when you talk about your fears, your happiness, your um worries. So
Your
this
traumas.
your
Yeah.
traumas, yeah. So this is a form of healing, which is something that these people that are not healed will never do, because every time you try to do it, try to say something, it backfires on you. They shoot your head off. But this is a good example of what we're talking about. When I was younger, I was probably like 8 or 9. I had an auntie, and we will see her like every year, like for the holidays. She will come because she lived like 3 hours away from us, and over there, we don't own cars that freely, so we had to, like, she had to take the bus and or the train or whatever. So we will see her and her family once a year for Christmas, and then they will stay through New Year's. We'll go out on New Year's Day and go out somewhere, and then they will leave on the second or third. So it was
Mhm.
about 2 weeks. Every year there was something wrong with me. What? Why is her hair so thin? Oh my God. I hope her hair is not like that when she grows up. Why is she so
Mm.
short? Isn't she like so and so age? Yeah, well, so and so, one of her kids. Oh, when she was that age, oh, she was already taller. Maybe she's gonna be one of the short ones. And it's a child, little one. It hurts you because you start worrying about, I'm not gonna grow up. I'm just going to stay this little, and there's something wrong with me. So I'm 9 years old. They come over. Her daughter is, and mind you, her daughters, the ones that she was comparing me to, is 3 years older than me.
Oh, I see.
Okay. 3 years older than me. So my father would tell her, "Yo, well, kids, they develop in different ways, different times, different, they're not all the same. Even the ones, all the kids that you have, they're all different, and they're from the same mom and dad." My dad will tell this lady to kind of shut her up and tell her in her face, everybody is not the same. So why are you trying to make my kids cookie cutter, right? Kids. So I'm 9 years old. They come over for Christmas. Her daughter is at this point 12 years old. And then we're sitting on the table having dinner. My sister's cooked. I help kind of like get the salad ready, whatever, get the table organized. And then my aunt, we're sitting down having food, and I'm right in between my two sisters. My aunt says this out loud in front of boys, grown men, teenage boys, in front of everybody. Oh my God, how, you're so flat chested
Wow.
compared to your sisters. And my sisters are, I'm in between my sisters. Compared to your sisters, you're so flat chested. Oh my God, I hope you don't stay like that, because that'll be, I mean, for a girl. And my dad got up and he went off on her and told her, "You're out of line. What is wrong with you?" Because this is a family
Ah.
member of his, this is one of his sisters. He's like, "What is wrong with you?
Mm, mm.
She's a child, and my daughters are teenagers, and you're focusing on their private parts. What is wrong with you?" Oh my God, don't get upset. And that's what she wanted it, because she loved to play victim. And I'm over there looking at my sisters, and my sister is kind of like, pinching me, like, don't, like, saying, "Don't say anything, stay quiet. My dad is already upset. Don't, just let him handle this between grown-ups. You stay quiet." So I stayed quiet, and it hurt me because I didn't know what she meant, because she said flat chested. So I don't know. I see my sisters that had, you know what I mean? Like, so that was it. So I left to come visit my mom for a couple few years. When I came back, we had, another family reunion. I'm not talking 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later. They come over, and then this time, Miss Marlene, I was too much out there. Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
Yeah. Now, oh, you're not the flatty one. Oh, now, dude, girl, that's too big. Why are you so big? And my dad looked at her again, like, seriously, dude. Like, what language do I have to speak to you so that you can understand? These are the private. parts and these are girls. Like, what's wrong with you? And I looked at her, but at this point, I'm already 12, 13 actually. I was 13 at this point. And I said to her, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, but don't worry about me. I said, don't worry about me. I'm okay. And my dad just smiled at me. That's all I said. What I said in private to her is, okay, so I was flat chested 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and now I have too much. I told her, I said, then you will never be satisfied. And I was
Mm.
13 years old when I said this to her. And that was the last time we spent any time with them because my dad finally got to see that this lady was just his sister was just way out there, too much, too disrespectful, too whatever. So he will go visit them or they will come to us, but my dad didn't make us sit there and do anything. We could be scattered everywhere, like go to our friends, during dinner or and say, oh, we already ate or eat in our rooms without people knowing. So that way we're not exposed to her because I think my dad deep down understood that there was nothing he could do to change this person, nothing he
Yes.
could do to heal this person because she was probably criticized the same way by either grandma or a grandmother or an aunt or whatever. So she was never going to be able to heal. So at that point, I understood that no matter what I did for people or who I was for people, it was never going to be good enough. And I learned that it had to be good enough for me. I just didn't know how to apply it, how to implement that thought process in my head. And that's when therapy helped me sort it out, understand it, and how to apply that. Hey, I understand this is the way you are, but that doesn't mean I have to be around you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad, Miss Nexie, that you spoke up for yourself because when I was younger, I didn't have that, like, many of us who grew up in a very where children were seen and not heard. Like
Hmm.
you cannot like it all you want to, but you better be quiet. You
Hmm.
better keep it to yourself. Like, you don't like it, that's your problem if you don't like it. But um I am grateful that I have gotten to this space. And it wasn't until many years after my parents passed away that
Hmm.
I finally said, we can't keep this in our family. You know,
Hmm.
if we're supposed to be brothers and sisters or cousins or friends or whoever it was in my life, there has to be a healthy, communication. There has to be communication. There has to be, and I feel that me going to therapy shifted everything in my life. It changed my financial situation. It changed my relationship with my siblings, how I viewed myself, my self-esteem, you know,
Hmm.
many things. I think that was the my catalyst for change is because I was hurt so much in my up until that time period that finally I think now it's like, okay, my parents aren't here anymore. And I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth, Miss Nexie.
Hmm. Yeah,
It,
because of the
I
our culture.
I didn't feel comfortable until after they were gone to like really say, when mom or dad did this, it really pissed me off.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
now I can talk how I want to talk.
No, and you know what? I do appreciate my dad saying, "What is wrong with you? These are their private parts, right? They're intimate. Like you can't say." I appreciate him saying that, but that's as far as he went. She will
Mm,
do it again and again and again. So I appreciated that, and in a way, it helped me see that what I was thinking, the thoughts I was having about her negatively, it wasn't wrong. But my father, my mother, my dad passed away almost 4 years ago, and you know that. But I was outspoken even before he passed away because I was already had gone through therapy and I was already working on myself. I'm always self improving, so I was able to say to these people, "No, you don't talk to my child like that," or "No, you don't say those things around." And this auntie that I'm telling you about, her grandkids can't stand her. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Because she is so rude, so mean, and they call her out on it. And then she gets, she gets sent out from her kids, like, no, you can't be here anymore. You're too much. And she doesn't understand why. So those are the type of things that I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna wait until you start hurting my grandchildren, right? So I was able to put a stop, to have a heart to heart conversation with her and to explain to her why I was distancing myself. And I told her, I don't want my children to carry the scars that I carry from you.
Mm.
Is they, when once they get older, if they want to look for you, whatever, that's on them. But they're not gonna be little. They're gonna be old enough to be able to defend themselves. And the one thing I do appreciate from her is she asked me for forgiveness.
Wow.
She did. She's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just that that's the way I am. And I say, yeah, Auntie, but if you're seeing that your grandkids are telling you these things and that there's something that, and I'm sure they're not the first ones to say this, why do you continue? And the one thing she said is that that's the only way I know how to be. And I said, no, Auntie, that isn't. I said, I have gone through a lot of therapy, a lot of self healing, self improvement. And trust me, if you really want to change, you're going to have to do the work. And you know
Mm.
what she said to me? I'm too old for that.
Oh,
I
Miss
said, okay.
Nexty.
I said, that was it, Miss Marlene. I said nothing
Mhm.
else.
That's
Go
it.
ahead.
I wanted to highlight the comment that Realist just put in the chat. Um, he says elderly folks got this thing where they can't help but to say whatever out their mouth.
Yes, realist.
Yeah.
Hey, realist. Hi,
Mm-hmm.
everyone. I haven't even been paying attention to the chat. Hi,
Yeah.
Lisa. Hi, our applause. Hi, everyone. But yeah, realist, you're right. They do have that tendency. I think that, as us, right, the next generation of grandparents, hopefully, and parents, what we have to do, and we have done a lot of, self improvement, is that we need to understand and not make the same mistakes they did. We're going to make mistakes. That's a given, right? We're human. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But we have to learn from the ones that they made towards us and not make the next generation for us to feel the same way we did.
Yes, Miss Nexy. And also I want to add to that. I was typing it in the chat, but I'll just say it. Most elderly folks, they love to be the victim while victimizing people.
Oh, couldn't have said it better myself, Miss Marlene. Could have not said it better myself. I have a mother who is just that.
Mm.
Always the victim, never the victimizer.
Mhm.
And she is not a victim, she's a victimizer. And I called her out on it.
Yeah. It's like you can't okay, like for example, like I called out a relative on this. They said something to me and I said the same thing back to them. How dare you? You're so rude. And I said, excuse me. You said that to me on Saturday.
And they get so hurt and so sensitive about it.
Mhm.
And they blow it out of their tops to everybody else. And then when you call them out, they don't even know what to say. They don't even know what to do.
Yep. But they don't want to. They don't want to do anything to change it. They don't want to do
Hmm.
anything to heal it. They don't. They don't. Also, what really irks me is they don't want to do anything to be accountable. Like you'll
No,
tell them what they are doing, and they'll be like, "Oh," it's like,
I'll get
well,
over
you're.
it.
Oh,
Oh
oh,
my
you're
God.
sensitive. Oh, I heard that my whole life. You need to get a backbone.
Yeah, but if you heard it, then why haven't you changed? What's your problem? Miss Marlene, this is the reason why I have opted for having peace of mind over anything else. So during the holidays, my granddaughter just had her second birthday. It was on the first.
Mm,
We went to, mom didn't do any celebrations. What she decided to do was take her to Disneyland, and we did. We went. I went for a few hours. We had fun with her. And the moment, it was because it was raining. It was raining a lot and it was getting cold. And the moment that happened, that I wasn't feeling okay anymore, I was like, I gotta go. Right. And I was like, I have to go. And my son is like, yeah, mom, let's go. I'll take you. And so we left early, but it was a very nice time because it was just us and her, and she was having a great time. No drama, no, oh, so and so doesn't like that, or so and so doesn't eat that, or oh my God, why are you looking at her like, you know what I mean? Like, no family drama. It was just us.
Okay.
For Thanksgiving, I for many many years have either cooked the day before and have dinner with my kids here, and then they do whatever they want on Thanksgiving day. Sometimes we have gone to other family members, but this year I opted not to, because I don't want to go to somebody else's house and have my day of giving ruined and come home with more stress than is necessary. So this year, and I had done this when COVID hit, actually before then, but when COVID hit, I had followed this like for 4 years. I went nowhere until last year. I went somewhere, and then this year I said, nope. I was so right. I was correct. I'm gonna stay home. I didn't cook anything. I did something on Thanksgiving Day for me and my little guy because I had him here, and that's it. We had a great meal. We watched a movie, a few Christmas movies that I had, and, on TV, and that was it. We
Mm.
went to bed, and we didn't deal with anybody else's drama.
Mm-hmm. I
and
understand
that's
that.
and for me that's important because holidays are very stressful for a lot of folks. They're very very stressful because you have so many people in one room, a lot of family members that have probably been bullying you for a long time. Sometimes even grandparents do that. And you have to take it because you want to please everybody or because your parents say so. So now I don't do that. If I don't want to, I'm not going. I don't care what day it is or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. If it's a festivity, whatever. I don't care if it's a holiday. I'm not going anywhere if I don't feel the desire to go, and if I know that where I'm going is not going to be pleasant. I decline respectfully and thankfully. I decline, and then I said maybe some other time, but no, thank you. And I stay home and I have the greatest time of my life on the time that I stay home instead of dealing with everybody else's drama. So I get that a lot of people have to follow certain things because they have, they still have the need to do it. But I hope that they're speaking out for them, advocating for them, and not allowing people to disrespect them and belittle them or hurt them in the name of family.
Mm-hmm. Miss Nixie, I guess I'm to a point in my life where I don't know. I'm in a different transition period in my life where I don't even care anymore. I just tell them like when people invite me to things, like I I'll call them up like, I see you invited me. I was like, I'm kind of confused. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, you don't like me.
Mm.
I was like, well, why? I don't understand. Oh no, that's not your. I said, don't. I said, I'm too grown for it. I'm too grown for it, and you're too grown for it. I said, I don't do the fake. You don't like me. I don't like you. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Let's just get over it, and you
I
do you and
I
I
got
do
I
you,
gotta
girl.
I probably need to work on my
Delivery.
whatever my yeah, my delivery. I think it needs work, but I can't do that fake stuff anymore. Like the people who call me, like I haven't heard from you from last year. Like why are like they're texting me. I'm like, who is this?
I do that a lot. I do that
I
a
was like,
lot
who
too.
is this? Oh, this is so and so. And I was like, I haven't heard from you in a year.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
I know,
I,
I know,
I
but
was
I
like,
just
I
wanted
don't
to connect.
understand. I was like, I don't understand. Oh, I just wanted to tell you. I was like, no,
And it's always
lose my
Miss
number.
Marlene, and it's
Yeah.
always close to a birthday. It's always close to a holiday, right? Then they're
Mhm.
gonna do something they want. It's not because they want genuinely to talk to you and hang around with you. It's just because something big is coming. They either want to invite you and they want the family to know that they invited you and they hang out with you, or that they still keep you in the family line, or they want something from you. Bring this, bring that, right?
Mhm. Yep. And like I always say, Miss Nixie, I say lose my number, and I mean it. Yep.
Yeah, I don't deal with that anymore, again, because I have a huge excuse, right? He doesn't want to go. That was my
Mhm.
excuse in the beginning, but now it's more like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna sit this one down. I'm just gonna, maybe next year. But thank you for the invite. You guys enjoy, have fun, and you know that's
See,
it.
See, Miss Nixie, I'm not at that space either. I don't even want you. Don't even invite me. It's like
You gotta work on the delivery though.
Miss Nixie, it ticks me off that they invited me. And I call them. I'm like, I got an invitation. Like, I'm very confused. Like, why are you inviting me? I
You're
was like,
even pettier than I am.
yeah. hmm Don't send
You're so
me,
bad.
don't send me invitations to parties and weddings. I was like, you don't like me. The whole time I'm there, you're giving me a side eye. What? No, I'm not. Yeah, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, yeah.
You're ignoring my conversation. You're not even paying attention. Then you're asking, so what are you doing now? Like, they don't even, I don't know. It's weird, but I'm not there anymore where I want to be surrounded by so many people that deep inside are unhealed. Deep inside they are scarring people, as they speak,
They're
as they say it, right?
rude.
They're
They're
rude and they're
rude.
scarring people as they speak. So
Yeah.
for me, is I don't want to be around there because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be
Mhm.
okay with what they're doing, but I don't want to snap on them either. So I rather just stay my little tush here where
Mhm.
I'm safe and I don't have to deal with anyone. And then, rather than going over there spending money because they're gonna ask you to bring something, or you're gonna have to bring something because you're going. And for what? To see the same familiar faces that have never really liked you, never
Miss
really dig you. So
Yeah.
no, I'd rather just stay here with my little guy. And when he
Mhm.
goes with dad, because on Christmas he normally spends it with dad, I just stay home.
Mhm.
Last year I went for a couple of hours somewhere, and that's gonna be the last time I went there because it
Mm.
was very uncomfortable, Miss Marlene. It was very, very uncomfortable.
Miss Nexie,
So
listen, I hate to interrupt you, but I have to
no,
say
go
this
for it.
while it's on my brain. I feel I'm at this space in my life. I think I'm at the age, I'm at the maturity, I'm at the healing space where I feel like if I don't like you, if I don't want to spend the money, I was like, I know you don't like me. I know you've never liked me. I would rather be at home in my cozy pajamas in a quiet space without a
Watching my
headache.
romantic movie. Yeah.
Exactly, Miss Nexie, speak on it. So I,
Ew.
I'm just, I know, Miss Nexie, I know that's blah city for you. I know it's vomit city. As my brothers would say, that's vomit city. But
Yes.
that's me, and I
And that's
stand on
you.
that. Yeah, and I stand on it. I feel like I'm in such a better space in my life that now I give myself the permission to be honest with myself. You know?
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Miss Marlene, I had to I, I had to learn to say no. I've said this before in our sip and chat, is that I had to learn to say no because I wanted to please everyone in the family. I wanted everybody to be happy, and I had to learn to say no. I think that was the worst thing ever for people, that I learned to say no and mean
Mm,
it, because I will sometimes say no if I thought that so and so didn't want, my ex husband didn't want to go or whatever. And I'm sorry, I can't, and I will feel bad. But I learned to say no with a lot of pride and not feeling a bit of regret on me, like literally none.
Mi-
So,
Miss Nexie,
what?
Miss Nexie, you got to say it with your, what they say, you got to say it with your chest.
Yeah, none. Like a whole chest. You're gonna see me doing that, which I don't know why I'm doing it because we're not even in camera. But I learned to say it and mean it, right? Or mean it and say it. I learned to. I don't want to. Why don't you come? Because I don't want to. Or I
Mhm.
don't feel comfortable there, and I don't want to. I just don't. And I learned to own up to that and not be hypocritical and say, well, because I can, because we have this and that. And because,
No.
a couple of times I got caught on a lie. But healing looks this way, the way we are, which is you can be direct, you can be honest, and you can be everything with respect. If you can say, I don't want to go because I don't feel comfortable, therefore I'm not going, or I'm not going because, I felt very uncomfortable the last time. So I'd rather just stay home. But thank you though. If you can say that, that's what healing looks like. Because
Yes.
you'd rather stay home in your own skin, doing the things that you love, taking care of you, your mental health, your feelings, everything. You rather
Mhm.
stay home and do that, nurture that person, you, rather than being hypocritical and healthy and just continue to surround yourself with that type of negativity and that type of people. So
Mhm.
for me, is I'm healed. I am constantly doing that anyway. I'm constantly self improving. And I can say this, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. But I appreciate the fact that you thought about me, but no, I'm not going because, I didn't feel comfortable and I don't like that. And it's a grown up thing to do as well, because I had people that are constantly lying for the reasons why they don't want to go. They get caught, and it happened to me a
Mhm.
couple of times. And then it becomes worse.
Yep. It sure does, Miss Nexie. And the thing about it, and that's why I said, sometimes it can seem, and so I can understand why people can take me as abrasive. I understand that. But I'm at the space in my life where I'm too grown. As I call at my big age, that I'm not going to be sugarcoating things and trying to walk on eggshells with people to try to protect people's feelings or their ego or this or that. No, I'm just going to say what it is. Like, I don't understand. Why are you calling me? You haven't called me all year. Oh, I was thinking about you. No, you weren't thinking about me. You just want to see me so that you can evaluate and see if I lost weight or gained weight, or if I'm in a relationship. I said all these, that's the only reason why you want me there, so that you can put your nose in my business. And I'm not interested in that. So have a good evening. And I hung up the phone. I'm done with them.
I had an invitation this past summer, Miss Marlene. I haven't spoken to this cousin, and she was the one who married someone and literally threw us all away because the guy
Mhm.
had a little bit of money and he's upper class, and she didn't want to deal with us. And then so I don't know
Oh
what happened.
yeah,
I
she's
think she
better
got,
now. She's better
yeah,
than
she
you.
was, and this is about 20 plus years ago. She got married to this dude and
Mm.
whatever. I don't know what happened between them, but I got an invitation. I haven't spoken to this cousin of mine in almost 20 years. And we
Mm.
live, Miss Marlene, about an hour away from each other here in Cali. I have seen her sometimes in at the supermarket. I had seen her before at supermarket sometimes, and places that we, D-land or a park, a theme park, or just some sort of park. I have seen her in events, and she only says hi from far away, said hi back then from far away, and that was it. But at this point that I got the invitation of, I have not seen her in almost 20 years, or
Mm.
interact with her or socialize with her, whatever you want to call it, as a family member in about 20 years. I get an invitation, okay, to my house of a wedding, an upcoming wedding that I was being invited to. In the Hispanic tradition, a lot of us have um, a couple that either you entrust with the ring, or that they're like
Ring
godparents. They call them
bearers.
like, no, no, they're like godparents of the wedding. They're like your godparent in a wedding. And what they do is you tell them, oh, can be the godparents of our the ring support, the ring cushion or whatever. You have to buy it and gift it to them. Or can you be the godparent of shoes? And then you pay for their shoes and you give it. So it's kind of like that. It's like a godparent type of thing. So they put you on the invitation, and it's couples that either support you on the drinks and the shoes or honeymoon or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes DJ, and okay, I will be the godparents of DJ, and you have to pay for the DJ as many hours, whatever. So I get the invitation, and I was like, she's getting married again? Like, what the, right? And this is during summertime.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I haven't heard. How did she know my address? Right? I'm thinking out loud. And my kids are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, no, nothing, never mind. But I'm like thinking, how does she know my address? And then I was like, I think I know. And I called my brother and I said, hey, this has happened. How did this person know my address? Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen her in so long. And I got an invitation too. I was like, what? I call my sister, same thing. And mind you, my sister lives back home. One of my sisters lives in El Salvador. So she even got an invitation, by the way. We don't know why or how. But then I called the source and I called my mom, the source of this
Oh
drama.
boy.
And then I said, hey, I just got an invitation from so and so. How did she know my address? Oh, well, I saw her, I see her from time to time. And the other day she was talking to me and she asked me about you and blah, 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 blah. And then she told me that, she was getting married and wanted your address. And I'm like, and you just gave it to her just like that, freely, just like that? Well, it's your cousin and it's for an invitation. I said, no, don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. You should have called me and asked me, is it okay for me to give them your address? I said, you
Mm-hmm.
see, this is what I'm talking about. I go, you do things sometimes that overstep the boundaries that I have. Oh my God, there you go. Getting upset again. I'm not getting upset. I'm just calling you out. You're stepping over the boundaries. I said, you should have asked me. And that's the grown up and polite thing to do, because if somebody asks me for your number, I'm going to call you first and find out if it's okay. That's what we're supposed to do. So long story short, Miss Marlene, she was calling and then she called me and she wanted to talk to me and she wanted to know if I wanted to be the godmother of blah blah blah.
Mm.
And that's when it hit me, Miss Marlene, that it wasn't because she wanted to reconnect, that it wasn't because she wanted me, she hasn't seen me, right? She wants to see how I'm doing, whatever. No, it was because she needed us to pay for something.
Mm.
And so I politely said to her, I haven't seen you in 20 years. I said, we live an hour away from each other. I don't even know how you look like now. And I feel disrespected that you're asking me to pay for something, like if you know me, like if we have had a long standing relationship,
Mm-hmm.
friendship, whatever. I said, I feel very disrespected and I don't appreciate you. I said, sending me this invitation and asking me for help. I said, so please, I'm not going to your wedding. Don't ever write to me again. Don't ever ask me for anything again. And please, 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 next time, don't be so cruel. That's the only thing I told her. I said, because what you're doing is cruel, disrespectful, and cruel. And I hung up and I never spoke to her again. But what everybody heard, Miss Marlene, on the next time we got together, and again,
Oh yeah, I know. I was waiting for it.
is that I was the worst person in the world. Okay. Because as family that we are, I rejected an invitation. I rejected her trying to connect with me again. And I rejected her as a family. and that I was the bad guy in the whole situation. And my mom tried to call me, and I said, "Don't go there. It's not going to end well for you. You know me already. So please don't go there." And she didn't, because she knew what was going to happen. My sisters, they're like, "She sent us invites." I said, "Yeah, I know." And they're like, "What the?" And both of my sisters rejected the invitation as well. And two of my brothers, I think only one of my brothers went to the honeymoon. I mean, to the honeymoon, to the wedding. And I think he pitched in for the honey. No, he pitched in for the honeymoon. That's what it
Oh,
was.
Miss
But yeah, he
Nexie, I
didn't
was
go to the
gonna
honeymoon with
say
the.
he got the best thing. He got the best.
No, I know. I was like, "Hey, if I pitch in for the honeymoon, I'm going with you." No, I think he pitched in for the honeymoon. And we were
Okay.
upset because we were like, "Why did you do that?" Like, and he's like, "You guys hold too many grudges." I said, "No." I said, "It's not that we hold them, it's just that we respect ourselves and we love
Hmm.
ourselves."
Hmm. Exactly. That's
And
that's
that's the
what.
thing,
But that's
Miss
the thing.
Marlene.
That's the thing, Miss Nexie, that people don't understand, that are unhealed, that you're not going to do what you used to do years ago. This is like, I had to really break it down, Miss Nexie, and say, just like this, you will never get it. You will never
Mm-hmm.
understand that
Yep.
I'm not the same person that I used to be. You can't manipulate me. You cannot guilt me into doing things anymore. It's like
Exactly.
I'm not a little girl. I'm not low vibrational. I know my worth. I know boundaries. I know disrespect. I know manipulation, and you can't play me anymore. And that's it.
Exactly.
You can't play
Exactly.
me
And
no more. Yeah.
and it's why I'm telling you, when I got this invitation, and that's when, you know, even though at that moment it didn't hit me, but we're talking about it now, you know, you cannot heal, you know, people like that. Unhealed people, you will never be able to do that unless you want to help themselves and, you know, go on a healing journey, because it's not easy, right? But
Hmm.
talking about it now, this is why I wanted to tell you the stories, because I found out as we speak now that I am in a good place in my life, and I am very, very healthy, mind and body, right? And I'm in sync. And the fact that I was able to reject that and say, no, what before I would have been like, "Oh, well, she hasn't seen me in 10 years. I guess because it's family, I'm gonna go, right?" Or I would, you know, my mom or whoever would have been like, "You have to go because it's family." But I realize now that we're talking about that, is that people like that, you cannot do anything about it. You can't.
Hmm.
But you, because you have worked on you, you can teach them what it is to be healed. You can show them what it is to be healed. You can what it is to be healed by your actions, by your words, by your life. You can show them overall what it is to be a healed human being, a healed person, someone that has worked on oneself.
Hmm. That's the truth, Miss Nexie. And the thing about it is that when you finally get to that space of, like, you can recognize, you know about a discernment, you know about when a person's energy is off. But it's all of that, that is a part of healing. Like, you can recognize when someone's lying to you, someone's disrespecting you, double talking. you know you recognize, and you're like, don't even try it. It's like, I don't want to hear it. And it's not because you're trying to be mean, but anybody who has ever worked on themselves, I know I can only speak for myself. I worked too hard. I cried
Hmm.
too many tears.
To go back.
To go backwards. Like, I'm not gonna let you go backwards so that I can, walk on eggshells to inflate your ego, or to, or to stay in this bubble with you when you know what you need to do to make your life better. I'm not gonna
And,
coddle grown people. I refuse.
and this is the whole thing why I told you this story, and I probably should have said this afterwards, is that in her first wedding, we gave her a huge, between my sisters and I, we pay for the music. And it wasn't
Mhm.
cheap. And so because we were like, my mom, we're family, you're supposed to do this. Oh my god, I cannot believe you don't want to help. And I'm like, I'm trying to see how I can help her, but and so she guilted us into, and I wasn't strong enough back then to say, no, I'm not going to do it, that's too expensive, and no, it has nothing to do with me. I couldn't do that. So
Mm.
this is the type of person that is used to stepping all over you, running over you, disrespecting you, taking advantage of you, and not blink in the wake of in what she's doing. Never apologizing. It's someone that feels entitled to everything of you because we are family, right?
Mhm.
And this is on my mom's side, her sister, one of her sisters. This is my cousin, like first cousin. We grew up together. But I back then I wasn't, and we had to, my sisters and I had to find a way to do this. And our husbands weren't happy, but because we're family, right? And so this time I think that because she's not healed, she's not someone that understands that she's stepping over boundaries, and that what she did was really uncalled for, because I haven't even talked to these people in 20 years, but now I can just walk back in because we're family. I think her failure here is because we're healed. She couldn't get to us in any way because we already healed. So we don't go back and forth with them. We just say no, and that's it. And it's not gonna affect anything around us, because family, what does that mean? I have best friends that are more family to me than family, biologically
Mhm.
family. So I think that she was expecting that, oh yeah, we're family. Even if I don't talk to her, oh, she'll still give it to me, no problem. Because that's the way she is.
Mhm. And that's one of well, I can only speak for myself, like I say all the time. It's no reflection of Miss Nexie, but I feel like in my family many people feel because I'm the youngest they're entitled to this because they have some sort of like elder privilege, like
Uh-huh.
I'm older, so you must listen to me, you must do as I want, as I say. And I was like, I had to cut the cord that ties the umbilical cord to all this toxicity. Like, I don't have to do what you say. I don't have to jump because you say it, or because you like it, or because things have been this way all these years. No, I say you can ask, you can request, but I'm grown. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't understand why sometimes older people don't understand this part. Like, I'm not a little kid.
Because again, they're not healed. They don't know how to, because they don't have any boundaries. So they don't know how to set them, or that we have them. And
No,
to
it's that we
them,
have
because
them,
they're
Miss Maxie.
elders,
Yeah.
because they're elders. And again, they're not healed. They don't know that what they're doing is not right. That is overstepping, overreaching, and it's not, they're abusing that power of family,
Mm.
that word. They don't understand that, because they will never understand. I'm telling you what my auntie says. Why now? I'm too old for that. That said everything to me. And I said, okay, auntie, you do you and I do me. And she's called me a couple of times. And the last time I said, to the one that I'm telling you, her, even her daughters are like, no, you're messing with my children. So no, you gotta go. That one, I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't. I am very busy, working and everything. And I don't have the ability to put up with this anymore. I said, I can't. So instead of creating an enemy, I want to continue to see me as the aunt that I grew up with. I mean, as your niece that you grew up, you as the aunt that I grew up with, without
Exactly.
tainting it. So, in order for me to do that and for us to have those memories, I need to not be around you, because I need to respect you. I want to do that. So, in order for me not to break that, I have to distance myself from you. And, like you say, if you cannot do this because you're too old, then I cannot do this as well because I am too old to be doing this kind of thing again.
Mm,
And she was upset in the beginning, but then she understood that, hey, we all have our own differences and we need to respect that. And if she didn't or she doesn't, I don't care
yeah.
because I don't live under her roof.
Yes, Miss Nixie, and I want to read to you what was in the chat. Eric M. 4404 says, you shouldn't have to pay for your cousin's wedding. You so right. You shouldn't have
Yes,
to. Hmm.
exactly, Eric. Exactly. And that's the whole point is that you don't talk to me in 20 years and now you expect me to be part of your wedding. And not just because we're family, but because you need me to pay something. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't because
Hmm.
she wanted to see me again or she's excited that we lost contact and now we're back together. No, it's because she needed something from us. And yeah, it is disrespectful and it's unfair. And I said no. And that in my family is a huge deal. Nobody says no.
Yeah. And I get that, what Eric says too. But I understand that in some cultures, aunts and uncles are asked to donate um, to help out. But if you can't, you shouldn't be guilted into it. And, in my culture too,
Yeah,
it's that
exactly.
it's that way too, that you're asked to buy certain things. And the thing about it, it's not really that you're asked, it's just like, here's the invoice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Miss Marlene, the worst thing is, when you're the godparent of whatever in a wedding, and then they send you the color of the dress and the style of the dress that you have to wear. And then they tell you, oh, you can get it the place that I got my wedding dress. And we all had to look the same color, same everything. And so you have to spend on your dress, your shoes, and everything. And then you have to spend on the gift.
Yep.
So who's getting married?
Yeah.
My so, and this is the reason why I don't like to do that because, and Miss Marlene, I'm telling you, we come from big families, my ex-husband and I, and we had a lot of quinceañeras, a lot of weddings, a lot of baptisms, but when it comes to quinceañeras, same thing. They call you for godparenting, and you have to pay for the drinks, or the same thing as a wedding, in a less because you don't have to buy the outfit. The colors of the wedding outfit type of thing. But with the bride, you do all of the godparents and husbands and wives or whatever have to go in a if it's a purple type of theme wedding color, whatever, you have to buy like that, and you have to buy the same cut, the same color, the same length, the same everything.
Oh.
And not all of us have the same body shape, right? Not all of us like certain colors. But if
Mhm.
it's purple, if it's green or whatever, you have to buy it and you look, you know what I mean? I don't know. But it
And,
was
and,
weird.
and you
And I
hate it,
told her,
Miss Nexie. Just
yes.
say it, and you hate
And you hate it
it.
because you only wear that dress once. Where else are you gonna freaking wear a long freaking dress, you know, purple dress, looking like little Barney?
Yeah, Miss Nexie, trust me, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's like, oh, and they're always like, oh, you can just cut it and shorten it. Where I said, well, to cut it and shorten it means I would have to like the dress.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it, but in pieces, and I'm gonna send it to you so you can know how I feel. But yeah, the guilting off, and that's the thing why sometimes we do the things that we do, and why sometimes too, Miss Marlene, there's a lot of resentment, in our family, in our culture, because they make us do things by guilting us into it that we don't want to. Sometimes we cannot even afford. But
Exactly.
because we're family and they guilt us into it, and we have to participate in things that sometimes we don't even believe
Yeah.
in the name of family. So I think that people that the healing that I did on myself, the years that I worked and continue to, but the beginning of my journey was very difficult because, again, like you said, we cry a lot of painful tears. We have to
Hmm.
confront a lot of painful things in our past and in our personal life too. So it took us a long, long time to get out of that hole, the dark hole we were in. Now, family like this again, trying to get us back into that hole and everything's going to be a yes type of thing. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Not to a healed person. That doesn't
Nope.
happen to it.
It doesn't happen. Oh, and Eric also says some cultures, family members are able to be recognized as sponsors, and they're able to get recognized in the introductions of the wedding party. With some
Yep.
family members, they love that attention. Like, this is sponsored by so and so. Oh yeah, and they stand up and you can, oh, their face is glowing. Yeah, I know. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what happens. In the invitation, all of the godparents' names are in it. Mr. and Mrs. So and so, so and so and so and so, blah, 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 and last name. And they put exactly what you have gifted them. So when you look at that invitation, Miss Marlene, and you start adding the numbers, you literally pay for that wedding.
Hmm. Oh, Miss Nexie, it's like when you ever look at some wedding invitations, it's like a book. So and
Yes.
so, yes, Miss Nexie, it's like you're turning page. I was like, I thought a wedding invitation just be like one card, one page. It's like a book. Like, you got to turn the DJ is by this. This is by this one. This one, the car is sponsored by so and so. What? I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
when is the wedding?
Oh, Miss Marlene, one of my cousins, my guy cousin, he got married. His my first cousin from my dad's side of the family, and he got married to this girl, beautiful girl, very very a posh wedding, and she wanted it this whatever. So we again got guilted into, but I'm talking many years back, guilted
Okay.
into with my ex husband to be part of the wedding, blah blah blah. And mind you, we have three children, right? Little ones. And what do we learn after they con us into giving them whatever it is that we gave them? Because I don't even remember. I was so upset. They told us that we weren't allowed to bring our children.
Oh no.
She didn't want
Mm-mm.
kids in the wedding.
Well,
And I
mm,
was like, are you kidding me? Not that I understand when people say we don't want any kids. But if I'm part of the wedding party, shouldn't you have told us, hey, by the way, we're not going to have kids. So look for a babysitter or whatever. Are you guys okay with it? Because I really don't want any kids. I want us to have fun. But you don't say anything until the invitation comes to your house and you open it and it says, no children allowed. You didn't
Miss
even have
Nex
the decency to tell me to my face.
Miss Nexie, you know why they did that.
Of course. Of course. Of course. They just wanted it, your money. That's all.
Yeah.
They
And once they
just
got the
wanted it.
money, now they can do what they want.
But that's another form of disrespect, Miss Marlene. Because and I don't blame her. I blame my cousin,
Hmm.
my guy cousin, because I'm his cousin, right? He was supposed to tell me, hey, cuz, guess what? She doesn't want any kids, but if you're still okay, you know what I mean? Or she could have a meeting with all of us. There were many times that all of the people that helped the wedding be possible. There were many times we even had the rehearsal dinner, right? Why not say it then? Like, not rehearsal, like the party planning dinner. I'm sorry, not rehearsal, the party planning dinner. They had a huge dinner. We went to this place. We had fun. We had food. We had everything. They could have said it there. Hey, we're planning to get married. We want you guys to be part of it, but this is one of the conditions. Are you guys okay with it? But a lot of people were upset, and a lot of the people that help pay the wedding, because that's what I think I think it rightfully pay for the wedding. A lot of them didn't show up. A lot of our family members didn't show up because they felt disrespected. They felt insulted, and it hurt them that their kids couldn't go.
Yeah, well, Miss Nexie, this is one thing that I will say, especially when you have people sponsoring, and I got air quotes like you guys could see
I
me.
can see them. I can see
Yeah.
them.
So if you have people sponsoring, paying for things, DJ, blah, 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 there should be a sort of like a meeting, a Zoom or something saying, "Hey guys, this is how it's going to be."
Hmm.
Because we've had people that have done something like that, like, okay, it's going to happen on at this time. We're thinking we're going to do it at this time, and these are going to be the colors. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, exactly. And Miss Marlene, if we would have not had anything like a pre-party, like I say again, a pre-party planning, if we would have not had that reunion, that everybody there in the same room, if that would have not had happened, then I would have said, you know what, they probably forgot, or because they're prepping for everything, they didn't realize they had not said it. But they knew then already that she didn't want kids. She said this is the very beginning, and my auntie said this to me. So if you didn't say it, is like you said, because they wanted us to participate, pitch in and everything, take our money, and then say, I don't want kids in my wedding, and I don't care how you feel.
Yeah, because they wouldn't care if you came. They just wanted the money.
And that's exactly, and a lot of a lot of our family members, a lot of them to this day, they stay away from them. And
Mm.
that was many years back, at least a couple of decades, Miss Marlene, if not more, because he's still with the same girl. And a lot of them, are keeping their distance even to this day, and they still remember that because we felt used,
Yeah.
blindsided and used. And the fact that, because we always have kids in our parties. I mean, we're Latinos, we're Caribbean kind
Hmm.
of people, right? We have the same upbringing, the same culture as you guys. And I'm like, okay, I can say I don't want any kids, but then my party's gonna be empty because everybody has kids.
Hmm.
Everybody has a little munchkin. So that's like saying you're welcome, but not your kid.
Well,
What the?
Miss Nexie, I have to tell you, I've been to certain things, and I'm sorry, Miss Nexie, I'm one of those bad people that says that.
It's okay, but you say it up front. You don't say it like after you have taken everybody's money and you
No,
have.
no, Miss Nexie, I don't say it. I don't say it like that. They would know. Like I would from the beginning, before even planning. Like even in the space of saying, "Oh, this is what's gonna happen." This is gonna be an 18 and over party, so you guys know that you're going to need to get some
Exactly.
babysitters. And I know when you do that it's going to be some hurt feelings, but Miss Nexie, when you're spending thousands of dollars for a special occasion, I don't want no little kid putting their
Yeah,
hand
exactly.
in a cake or
But
trying
you
to
say
drink
it
the
before, Miss
wine
Marlene.
or yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sorry to butt in there because I'm so emotional, but you said it before. You said it as the planning is going. You're like, you know what? It's 18 and over so that we can have a great time. So, guys, get a babysitter, right?
Yeah,
You
from the
say it
beginning.
before. Exactly, from the very beginning. And this is but when it's family, it's a lot more hurtful because you're like, so you don't want my kid, but you do want my money.
Yeah, and
That's messed up.
I had some relatives say that. They were like, "Well, we won't be coming if you don't want my kids there."
Okay.
And it's like, I was like, "You can't get mad at me." But Miss Nexie, I hate to say it this way, but this is a sip and chat, so I have to be honest.
Yes, you
Those
do.
people that didn't come is why it was such a nice occasion. If they had,
We get rid
if
of the
they,
one we wanted to.
listen, Miss Nexie, if you if they had come, Miss Nexie, I hate to say this, but we all have people, and when they come and their kids running up and down, running over people, breaking things, and they would be like, "Well, they're a kid."
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't get it. They're little ones. You know how they are. No, I don't. And even if I did, I don't care. You should have not. He should have not. Be running around breaking things. You're a kid. Take care of them. No, I get that, but people don't tell you, and then you get blindsided like that. It some people take it very, very, you know, to heart.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you, my
they never
family's
forgive
still
you.
divided. Never. My family's still like, if they know that these people are gonna show up, and after they had kids, we had another celebration. I don't remember what it was for. And one of my uncles he's like, "Oh, you brought your kids? I thought it was a no kids party." And he will say things like that to them. And my cousin he would look at his dad like, "Dad, please." But my uncle felt really bad because he knew that he made a mistake. He knew that his son was at fault. And he will voice it like that, like kind of like taunting them. And I was like, "Uncle, you're funny," because I thought it was hilarious that even his own dad wasn't in agreement with what he did. My
Hmm.
auntie, she'll forget anything. That's her favorite child, but not my uncle. He will be
Yeah.
ready to, "Oh, you brought the kids? Wow. Was it a kids party or no kids party? I don't know." And my cousin would just roll his eyes, and his wife would be like, "Oh, they're so rude." But it's something that you don't, certain things you don't do them last minute, right? You do them in the beginning. But in order for you to be that type of person, you need to have the maturity and the ability and the fortitude to be that honest and to be that direct and to be that thoughtful, right? Towards others, even if it's going to be uncomfortable, at least you say it, you do it. And that is a level of maturity and of healing that you have to have. Even if it's people don't like it, but you're going to say it up front.
Exactly. That's part of respecting others as well as yourself. Giving people the freedom to make their own choices. Like,
Hmm.
okay, they don't want to be here. Like, why would I want people here that don't want to be here? And I think that would be a good conversation for another sip and
For
chat.
next
Like,
time.
yeah, because there's a lot of times that we do things that we don't want to do. But I think this was a really good sip and chat, really great conversation. Um, let's see. The worst is when they turn some kids away from certain families but allow others to stay, which is wrong too. My thing about that, it's a very sticky area, but I just will say it what it how it is, Miss Nexie, because I'm very like outspoken when it comes to things like that. I'll just say you can bring your kids, but they can't bring theirs. And that's what it is.
Again,
And
you know,
I'll tell them like you need to get a babysitter, but I'll tell them you can bring yours because I know that their kids are trained.
yeah, for me, it's a no. If I say no kids up front, it is no kids. I don't care how good they are, right? But you're saying it to their faces with respect.
Hmm.
When they blindside you, I think that's when I have a problem. But for me, if I say no kids, is no kids.
No, Miss Nexie,
But
I
as
wouldn't.
my children,
Oh, go
uh-huh,
ahead, Miss
I'm sorry.
Nexie.
No, no, I was gonna say as my children were growing up, it was insensitive for me to say no kids, and my kids were gonna be there, right? So
Hmm.
I never had those type of parties because I knew it was gonna be dumb for me to say I don't want any kids in the party and I have my kids running around.
Yeah. I understand that, but I'll tell you from my perspective because when I was younger, uh not that long ago, when I was younger, but when you're single, don't have kids, you really don't understand why people want to come to a party with kids. Like I
Mhm.
admit that I was in that zone because that wasn't my life. I was like, I don't understand. This is a
Yeah.
party for grown-ups. But then when you get to the space and now you have kids, you're like, why don't
Yeah, what did you want my kid? What's wrong with you? No, but Miss Marlene, again, it's in order for you to have a good relationship, and now we're going back to the serious topic, right? Because I know that you got to go, And it's late. We don't want to keep you guys here. But in order for you to have a good relationship with family or friends that I have turned into family more than family itself, to have that relationship, you need to be honest, respectful. And I think that you have to also have, um, how can I put it? Don't be biased because she's my family and she's not. Therefore, I'm going to allow this person to do, but not that person. You have to be truthful to everybody when it comes to the things that you want or what you want to surround yourself with. And because for me, again, people that don't bring me anything good, a good vibration, as you say, if they're low vibration, if they're
Hmm.
the people that by the time they leave my party or whatever the event, I'm gonna be drained and in a bad mood. I'm not gonna put up with it just because they're family, right?
Hmm.
I honor, respect, and give everything from me to others, and I expect the same thing from them to me. So because I have learned that not everybody is like that, healed and honest and whatever, then I have made sure that I only surround myself with people that are like me so that I can avoid having to be in a bad mood or having to have the need to say, hey, you know what, you're stepping out of line. I don't like the way you're talking to this person. I don't want you to treat this person like this. So in order for me not to go there, I always surround myself with people that I feel comfortable with, people that I have enjoyment with, whether they're family or not, with people that respect my boundaries and respect me and therefore are in their best behavior as far as the things that I don't like and do like, because I do the same with them. If I know that you don't like a certain thing or you don't like me to do, I won't do it because I have that respect for you, because I care for you. So ever since I trimmed my circle, my happy circle, as I call it, I haven't had any problems with disrespect, overstepping of boundaries, with people just coming out of the woodworks asking me for things. I have actually have a very happy circle, and we can talk about anything and everything without feeling attacked or disrespected. And so now this is my circle, this is what I'm around with. And if I don't go to my family sometimes festivities and whatever, they now know and understand that is because I don't feel comfortable there, and I need for them to understand that I don't want to go because of that. And they finally did. They know now that if I don't commit, no, I'm not going, they know why I'm not going. Or I'll see you after the holidays. They understand that why I'm going to see them after the holidays so that certain people that I don't like are not around. But you have to be mature, you have to be honest, and you have to be respectful when it comes to saying all those things to others, right? So they can understand you. And so that's what I've done, Miss Marlene. I have weeded out my circle of flowers around me, and I just go with the flow and the rhythm of happiness that I have. I don't go because I have to, because they're family, to be unhappy anywhere else. And I will not change that. I like what I have now. I like who I am too, and the woman that I have become. And I feel that it has taken me a very, very long time to get here, and I don't want anybody to take that away from me.
Right. Miss Nexie, a question from the audience. Eric says, so she had no contact with these family members for 20 years.
Hmm. Well, some of my aunties and my other cousins and my siblings, I think she had like every 5, 6 years, she will say hi, bye, whatever, and just to inquire how they were doing. But with me, she didn't have contact like in 20 years.
Wow.
Hmm. There was something about me, and now that you're saying that, like they don't like you, like your dad said, is because they don't like you. That's why they do those things. I
Yep.
believe that she probably doesn't like me.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad that my dad said that because, you know how when you're younger, before you know yourself, before you know about boundaries and that you can't please people, you have to think about yourself. Before you get to that space, you think that everybody thinks of you how you think of them. Like you think because you care for them and you love them and you support them, you think you're getting back that same energy.
Hmm.
Mm.
Nope. You learn the hard way that that is not the case.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Miss Nexie, how many siblings did she have?
My auntie, my uncle have 7 children,
Oh wow.
but she is the second born. I have my cousin, my old he's a boy, and then her, and then there's 2 more boys, 2 more girls, and another boy. So she's the first daughter, the firstborn daughter. So they babied her a lot. She was like their favorite. And then
Mhm.
the boys, and then my other girl cousins, they're totally different than her. They're very good girls, but she was very spoiled since she was little because there's a gap between the two first ones and the next two. It's like a 4 year, 5 year difference. So she was the
That's so
baby for a
sad.
while.
That's so sad that people grow up that way. But Miss Nexie, this sip and chat has been phenomenal, and we probably could go on for another hour, but it's almost midnight, and as my mother used to say, I turn into a pumpkin at midnight. So
So do I. Well, no, thank you for having me, Miss Marlene. And thank you, chat, for participating and for listening to us ranting here nonsense. But we appreciate you here. And Miss Marlene, thank you for having me and allowing me to again talk nonsense on your sip and chat.
Miss Nexie, it's not nonsense. It
It's
never
therapy.
it has never been nonsense. Miss Nexie, I can't tell you how when I we have these conversations, we talk about this like healing. You can't let unhealed people stop your progress, your growth, your mental health. Talking about this really reinforces in my mind that I'm on the right track. We're on
Hmm.
the right track. Don't let people run over you. Don't let people control you or try to guilt trip you or love bomb you into doing what they want you to do. You know yourself and love yourself.
Thank you, Miss Marlene. I couldn't have said it better myself. And yes, the person that you have to love the most in this world is yourself. If
Hmm.
you allow people to disrespect, step over your boundaries, and mistreat you, then you're betraying you. You're not betraying them. You're not betraying your mom and dad. You're betraying yourself. And that for me is a no no.
Exactly.
Therapy helped me get to this point, and I will never, ever go back to being that sweet yes person that I used to be. So I love myself very much. I'm first in, for me, I am first, I am second, and I'm third, and then everybody else. I love my kids, but they're grown-ups, they're grown adults. So they have their own world. And so that's why I say it's me first, me second, me third, then my kids, and then everybody else, I should say. I love them, but they're grown-ups. So I have only me to take care of, me to love, and me to respect. And I project that and tell that to everybody that is around me. And if you want to be my friend, that's one of the things that I ask you to respect me, don't overstep, and we can be friends for life.
Exactly, Miss Nexie. I love that. And I want to say that to everybody before we end this conversation to set boundaries, to reinforce them. Speak up for yourself. Don't let people run over you. Don't walk on eggshells with other people, especially like I said, people that don't like you, people that are using you for financial gain, or people who will laugh at you and then say that you're sensitive. We know the people who are unhealed and they do things that really grind your gears, make you upset. Don't keep putting up with it. Okay? We deserve
That's it.
better. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And just thank you, Miss Marlene, again for having me here. I know we're gonna have another sip and chat on Thursday. I hope
Hmm.
everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and a safe one. And I also hope you did too, Miss Marlene. Didn't I forgot to ask you, but I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. But nevertheless, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me your space to, voice my opinion, which is my own, by the way. It's nothing to do with Miss Marlene, and for allowing me to live a little bit of my um self here in your sip and chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's no problem, and I always want to acknowledge everybody who came through here. Lisa, Realist, James, um,
Eric,
yep, Eric. I know there was more people. James, Eric, Lisa, Realist. There's probably a few more people. Some people who were in the background listening. You know,
yes.
shout out to the trolls. Marlene loves the trolls too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So we will see you guys on Thursday at about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around there for
Somewhere
another sip
around
and
there.
chat. Yeah.
Yes. And
Thank
welcome
you
in,
guys.
Eric. I haven't seen you before, but welcome in.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful
Bye.
weekend.
Bye. Oh, and don't forget to thumbs up. Miss Nexie, you're slipping
Oh my
today.
God, I forgot. Everybody, don't forget to press the like, subscribe if you haven't, yeah, don't forget to turn on notifications. That's it. That's it. I'm done.
Miss,
Oh, I'm gonna
okay,
get
you
paid this
redeemed
time.
yourself. I
I'm gonna
forgive
get
you.
paid this time.
Okay, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.